Hello and welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator. Thank you very much for joining me in today's video, and today is going to be the first part of my first impression / review of the Pmdg 737-700 for Microsoft Flight Simulator. Now, the last time I flew a Pmdg product was in FSX, and it was the Pmdg 737-800. Plus they had a few variants, I think 800, 900, then there was a 6 and 700 add-on, but I think it was the 800/900 NG that I flew, and that was some 12, 14 years ago, I believe. I did actually fly it after that as well a little, but then I moved on. I did not have time to play flight simulators. Then when I came back to it, I tried X-Plane 11, did not have P3D, had X-Plane 11, found the Zibo Mod, which was excellent, flew a lot of that, and now we're back to Pmdg. So the question here is this just like the old one? And that is what I'm going to find out. I say like the old one, plus improved with everything that we now have. In this video, I'm going to be taking a look at how much it costs. In fact, I will say that now. Normally $74.99. So this is US dollars. That is what it states on the site. So that is what I am going to use. Although it is on sale at the time of this video being recorded at $69.99. So $5 off. I believe I might have got it slightly cheaper a couple of weeks ago. Obviously this has been out for a couple of weeks, so there is a price. After the intro, I will be looking at the system specifications that Pmdg say are needed to run this aircraft. I'll look at what this aircraft comes with, a few notes on some pending future updates. Again, I'm reading from their website. And then we will do a flight deck tour and refamiliarize myself with the 737. That being said, I really should not need refamiliarization with a 737 because, well, it's an aircraft that I have so many hours in. I should be able to look at it and go, yes, I remember where everything is. Let's find out if that's a thing. So anyway, make sure you stay tuned if you want to see, again, some looking at quality of the product and a flight deck tour. And then parts 2 and 3 will be taking a look at a flight, and we'll have a look at starting the aircraft up. We'll do a full cold and dark start, and we will also do our taxi, takeoff, climb out, see what it's like to fly, and then a descent, approach and landing. Make sure you stay tuned. Right, I thought I would move to another angle of the aircraft whilst we talk about the system specifications, and also I'll speak about this particular livery, because of course British Airways do not run 737s at the moment. It is a shame. I do particularly like the 73s a lot more than the Airbus A320s. Way more, for multiple reasons. Although the Airbus A320 inside is a very clean, modern style flight deck. But that is beside the point. We're looking at the 737, so let's look at the system specifications now. Microsoft Flight Simulator required on PC, not on Xbox. Oh dear, that car has had a bit of that van has had a bit of an issue, hasn't it? What on earth? Whoa, where are you? Okay, never mind. Let's ignore what just happened with that van. Microsoft Flight Simulator on PC, unfortunately not available on Xbox. Second, it says here, an Intel i7 or i9 processor with 8 or more cores, so that is, what, everything 8th gen and above? That is what they're recommending, at 3.5 GHz or faster, and the equivalent AMD of course. 16 GB of RAM or more. A DX11 or 12 capable graphics card with 8 GB or more of onboard dedicated VRAM. So they are recommending things like the 2080 Ti, 3080s or newer. I suppose, going to the 40 series, which will be announced soon. However, that being said, yes, I have all that RAM. I am running a 2070. No 2070, no Ti, no special stuff. It's just an EVGA 2070. That is all I'm running. My processors do have more than 8 cores. Actually, no, they have 8 cores. I've got 16 cores with hyperthreading, but they have 8 cores. They are all operating at over 3.5 gigahertz. So I think with all of this, I think it's a little bit much, perhaps except perhaps the RAM. It does say if your installation of Microsoft Flight Simulator runs reasonably well using other popular aircraft add-ons, then it will run the 737 just fine. So I would say look at other add-ons. Oh, there goes another van. Look at other add-ons that you have, and if it runs it perfectly fine, you should be okay with this aircraft. But again, I think particularly with their graphics card, they're just a little they've been a little overzealous there, and yeah, I think you should be perfectly fine. As I said, I'm running a 2070, so if you have a 3060, a 1080 Ti, you should be okay with this product in the graphics department. And certainly with the processor, I do believe better processors, the more processors, or the newer the processor, the better in general. That being said, I'm not sure if you need all 8 cores. I doubt this makes use of all 8 cores. Now, I doubt Microsoft Flight Simulator itself makes use of all 8 cores, but certainly the speed is important. So there we go. Right, let's find a different angle, because that's just a bit strange with the van. Hey, look, that's an interesting. Ooh, I wonder. Oh well, that's no good. I mean, I was okay. I didn't realise that you couldn't. Can you not go into? Well, you can, but it takes you up to the top. Oh, well, that's a bit rubbish. I suppose you could take a picture, something like that, which doesn't look, I suppose, terrible. It is fairly realistic. Okay, let's look at what comes with this. So I'm just going to read through this. I'm just going to read through their bullet points here, and let's find out what we have. Fully customized system simulation for all major and minor aircraft systems and components. That's a Pmdg sort of centerpiece. That high-level simulation. Highly sophisticated logic simulation of onboard information systems and aircraft management. Great. Pmdg's customized flights model with enhanced physics augmentation. I'll find out what that is. Rigid body physics for wing and tail surfaces. Okay. Fully customized flight control systems with normal, standby and reversionary capability. That sounds quite interesting. Accurate resolution cockpit displays. Okay, once we go inside we'll see that. Interchangeable equipment options for cockpit instrumentation. I will show you this. Numerous user configurable options from throughout the global 737 operator fleet. Again, I will show you this. Updated 737 options packages reflecting operational improvements and changes to the global 737 fleet. Again, I will show you some of these. Full featured failure simulation to cover nearly all QRH scenarios, as well as real-world mean time to failure simulations model. So what this means is that you could look at your quick reference handbook, which will go through every potential failure that you could have on your aircraft in real life, and you could do that here, or nearly all of them. It does say nearly all. And the real world mean time is essentially service-based failures. That is what it actually means. I'm surprised they didn't just write service-based failures. So if you do not perform or go through the maintenance procedures on this aircraft, you could have engine failures, landing gear failures, flap failures, things like that. Native Pmdg data link simulation compatible with SimBrief integration. I like that one, although I wish it was done a little bit better. Sort of. So the Just Flight BAE 146 has the SimBrief integration on the EFB. And what this does, this is a step ahead because it's got its custom FMC. What you can do is you can load the flight plan or save the flight plans and weather information in your folder. So there's a specific folder you can save it in, and then you can just put your company route in as you would in real life, and it's like a data link upload that rail line operator or airline operators would be doing. And they, you know, for example, if you want to fly, I don't know, if you're flying East Midlands Airport to Amsterdam, so you would have Echo Golf November X-Ray Echo Hotel Alpha Mike, and you just put that in as the company route, and it would load in all your waypoints and everything that you need to do. So this replicates that through SimBrief, but it is a little bit finicky. You do have to sort of create your SimBrief, create your files, and then save the files to a specific place on your drive within Pmdg's setup for it to be able to do that. Nevertheless, it works really, really well. I have seen this working. Incandescent and LED lighting packages, as well as fully dimming flight deck lights and annunciators. That's standard for Pmdg. Drivable pushback tug. This just seems really interesting. I want to try that at some point. Customized sound package that leverages advanced sound recording and playback technology for incredible realism. Great. Sound environment built using recordings from a purpose-instrumented airplane recording effort. I'm not sure what that means. So I'm guessing they got a specific recording equipment to put into an aeroplane. I'm guessing that's what that is. Highly integrated exterior, interior cabin and flight deck sound environments. We will see. Includes the 737-700 in passenger configuration with both blended winglets, which is what you see here, and scimitar winglets, which are the ones that I do particularly like. I really do like the way the scimitar winglets look. Also includes the 737-700 freighter with main deck cargo door and blended winglets. Full set of ground equipment for each aircraft type, including passenger servicing vehicles, VIP vehicles for the business jet, and cargo handling equipment for the freighter. Virtual cockpit model, I don't need to go through that, that's standard. Advanced animation techniques leveraging the new MSFS engine to truly bring the 737 flight deck to life. Now this is an interesting one. To bring a flight deck to life, I want to see how they have improved it over what I'm used to in FSX. Also has cockpit differences between the passenger, cargo and business aeroplanes, and they are accurately rendered. Comes with Pmdg's Operation Center 2.0 for easy livery installation, which is how I got this one. So you can just download it directly from the Operation Center, or I downloaded this livery and I just installed it through the Operation Center, and there we go, it's perfect. And it was very, very easy to use. Also comes with a full feature tutorial, which will guide you through proper operation of the 737 from power up to power down, and much, much more, it says. Now, let's move this one more time. Hey, isn't this where we started? Let's look at a different angle. Actually, that doesn't look too... That's not too bad. Fairly realistic, although we are out of focus. So let's bring that focus back in nicely. There we go. Just take oh dear. Take a close look at the engines here. Oh, we are not in focus. We are very much not in focus here. In fact, there we go. Nice close look at the engines. Now, before I take a quick exterior tour, we've got some pending future updates to talk about. This aircraft does not have an EFB yet. The EFB remains in development and will be added during summer 22 in a free update. Now, for me, I'm not sure. If we just jump inside, I'm not sure exactly what's stopping them. They say that Asobo / Microsoft haven't got what they want at this point in time, and it's something they're working with them, or something along those lines. But I mean, Just Flight have EFBs, and they are really good EFBs. Yes, I know it's not going to be PMDG's style. I understand they want to do something specific, but they could have given us a basic EFB, and that is not a thing. So I'm a little bit umming and ahhing about that one. Nevertheless, they did say it's coming, so that's fine. It's just a bit annoying. Well, you could have just given us a basic one, allowed us to connect our Navigraph up or something, and be done with it. High resolution cabin models and landing gear bay interiors for all 737 variants remain in development and will be added during maintenance updates. Now, I might as well just show you this whilst I'm here. As you can see, now you cannot see, that just looks like somebody hasn't put their glasses on if they're short-sighted. There you go. Not exactly high quality in there. So they are still apparently working on the landing bay interiors, that's fine. Again, I suppose nobody is really going to look in there. So that is something they're working on, and it will be released. And similarly, if I let's go up and go into the cabin. There you go. This is what they've got for the cabin at the moment, which is pretty, I mean, it's not horrifically bad. Certainly not horrible, but it does look, I'll be honest, at this looks more like FSX. That looks more like FSX. This is that just looks like something terrible. This is FS 2020, and then let's go back, and this is FSX. So they are working on it. This is a little low quality. So I wonder how things will pan out with them for that. That's a really nice view, isn't it? I really like the reflections in Microsoft Flight Simulator. They are absolutely fantastic. So those are two things that are noted on this. And I think they say new features added to Microsoft Flight Simulator will be made available with free updates. For example, weather radar, which again, the 146 that I've recently been reviewing also does not have. So now that that is all said and done, let's start having a closer look at this aircraft. We've seen what is not good on it. Now let's have a look at what is good. So first off, the quality of the aircraft is incredible. Apart from obviously the things they haven't done yet, the quality is actually incredible. Obviously this texture is a downloaded texture, but there are plenty of textures available, and they all look fairly similar to this when it comes to quality. So this is quite typical of the quality you're going to have. Modeling is fantastic. It's immediately recognizable as a 737 in every which way, shape and form. As I said, as I start doing some of the customization, I will be jumping in and out of the aircraft, and you will be able to see some of that. But yes, this looks very, very nice on the quality all the way around. Very, very well designed, as expected from PMDG, really. Even these little bits here, see, they've even put the effort in to do things like this and ensure that it's properly covered. Again, they just need to sort out their landing gear door, or the internals of it, I suppose. The bay, even the engine looks pretty good. I mean, the thing is, everything nowadays looks good. That is something that seems to be happening. You'll notice that a lot of aircraft just look good. Or a lot of mods, full stop, or a lot of games. They all look good. The problem is once you start looking at it and you go beyond the looks of it, does it fly well in this case? Does it have the features? Does it respond as it should? All of those things will then come into play, and that is what we're here to look at. Wow. So now that we're in the aircraft, let's go ahead and, first of all, classic, get rid of the yoke. It just pushes it down, which is very nice. I'm going to connect up some ground power here, so bear with me one moment. I should remember how to do this. In fact, I will just move over like this. That is the one I want. And let's go battery on. And that should give me my FMS back. Why is that on? Oh, emergency lighting probably. FS actions, ground maintenance. No, not ground maintenance. Ground services. GPU cart, well, actually, we'd have an external pit because this is London Heathrow. Ground power request. And let's get some of that going. Let's get that ground power going. Can I see this happening? Is the question. Where would it do? Oh, there it is. Well, no, I did not see that happening. It just happened. But it is connected, which is nice. Connected into the ground power bay. And to be fair, that actually looks quite good. That almost looks like you could click those buttons, which is really, really interesting. So very nicely done on the textures there. Right, now that we've got that, let's go ahead and grab the ground power. Okay. Now we've got some power, I'll clear that. And we're just going to remain on ground power. In fact, let's request an air conditioning unit. Let's pull out a whole bunch of stuff. A maintenance van, a lavatory, a fuel truck. Sure, we'll request a fuel truck too. Let's request some extra stairs. A passenger bus. I don't know what that is. Cabin cleaning, sure, let's request that. A forward and aft galley, let's request that. So I'm literally just trying to get everybody in. Let's get the jetway up and running as well. Let's see if the jetway works. So the stairs, there you go. We can see the stairs are retracting. So this guy should drive away. And here comes some of the other stuff. Oh, that's nice. Who is making that noise? Is it you? Oh, I have no idea what is making that noise. That looks like a... That's portable water. Potable water, not portable water. Here comes the catering truck. Here comes some sort of fuel truck. Oh, maybe that's what it was. It's filling up. It's got that. Right. I need that truck to go. This is crazy now. But I like seeing things like that. There's the catering. Look at that. So we'll just go ahead and open the doors. Arrival hold, jetway, forward loader. Yeah, let's do it. Forward loader, forward carts, aft loader, aft carts. And I think let's request a jetway. That's connecting. I cannot... Right, that's a little awkward though. I have to say that's a little awkward. Yeah, that... Slightly awkward. But still, the jetway's now connected. That aircraft looks like it's ready. Oh my word, there's a whole bunch of things going on here now. And the doors are opening. There you go, doors are opening all the way around. It's busy. This is very, very busy now, this aircraft. I kind of need to get rid of the air stair. Or the stairs. How do I tell it to go away? Maintenance van, no, I just want to tell the stairs to go away. Air stair unit, yeah, you. Arriving, no, I want you to go. Could you disappear? No, apparently it's just blended as part of this now. Well, anyway. Hey, that's looking busy now. You could very well get this to be catering for whatever, you know, the correct you can have this for the correct airline or whatever it is that you want to do this for. But that looks incredibly busy. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually looking for an angle here to take a picture again. I will be doing this quite a few times, and this is something that I like about Pmdg, is that they've got this sort of stuff. It's just interesting to see all of these sorts of things. Now I need to get this correct. It's going to be, oh well, that's a bit rubbish. Microsoft Flight Simulator need to improve their they do need to improve their camera. There you go. Busy aircraft. Okay, so now that we've seen all of this going on, let's not get rid of that. Let's leave all of this and whatever it's doing. Look, we've got all sorts of ground maintenance. This is what I was mentioning earlier about maintaining your aircraft so you do not have service-based failures. We've got fuel, payload. These are all the basic flight simulator actions. Nothing different here. Opening and closing doors. We've got overwing exits if we wanted to. Push back. Here we go. Push stars straight out. Dot the I, cross the T, none/other. And then you can do it yourself. Interesting. Very interesting. So that is how they do it. Self-drive. No, self-drivers do it yourself. Select tug. I did not mean to do that. I've just done what I said I wouldn't do. Right, let's go ahead and select that again. I've just gone ahead and pressed select tug, and that's gone ahead and disconnected everything. Yeah, as you can see, I will grab that back, and I suppose everyone's now going to disappear. Yep, the jetway's retracting. Everything's happening. Everyone's like, nope, I want nothing to do with this. It's all time to leave. Well, okay, goodbye, everybody. Ooh, take a picture from the roof. Nope. Feel like I tried this earlier. There's the tug. There's a tug. I have no idea what this one is. What on earth is this? That looks like a tug as well, but that's also a tug which seems to have crashed into this tug. I think I've kind of just dumped everything on this, and it's gone a little bit. It's lost its mind. Let's bring our ground power back on. Oh wait, it says hold. 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 Everything else seems to be disconnecting. Hold. ARR. Hold. Eventually we'll have it. Give me some power. Do not make me switch on an APU. Okay, well, whilst we're in here, let's have a look at some of the other options that you have from the FMC. Connecting, there it is. Now it tells me. Few seconds and we should be good. There's our ground power back. Let's put that on down. There we go. Okay, let's have a look at some of the other settings we have available on the FMC. So let's not do anything else. So this is our flight simulator actions. Then we've got our Pmdg setup. Obviously we've got a full FMC here, as you would expect, but we're not going to look at that because that's not what we need to look at. So we just go to menu and go back. Pmdg Setup. So this allows us to save and load panel states. So for example, I started with cold and dark. There's loads of these. Cold and dark GPU, cruise, final, hangar, runway, taxi. So you can set this up. You do not have to start up the aircraft. You can just have it set up, ready to go and just fly, which I do like. I also like that we have the separate FMCs, or the separate units, the keyboard and keyboard control units, or whatever it's called, cursor control unit, KCCDU, yes, display unit. So I think in the 146 these were both one, because I think they use a universal one within Microsoft Flight Simulator or something like that. Anyway, not really worried about that. We can look at options. We can go simulation, service-based failures, off, engine oil use lost, off, Sync captain and first officer's EFIS, yes. Barrow and minimums. Standby barometer, yes. IRS options, realistic, fast or instant. I tend to prefer realistic. I like using realistic on these sorts of things. So I'm going to set up my aircraft as I would for this, and as I did many years ago, just to give you an idea of what is here. Set MSFS localizer. Okay, course, yeah, sure. Realistic autopilot engagement, yes. Thrust lever position, yes, I've already done that. I'm not sure about this. I cannot remember how I used to do this, but I'm going to leave that on never for now. High idle in flare, off, I suppose. Call outs, airspeed alive, yes, I want that. Call outs for 18 knots, sure. V1 rotate, yes. V2 no. Positive rate I'll go for. Pause at top of descent, I never used to like that. Auto time compression up to 4 times. I'm not sure about this. This is new to me. Auto time compression, this is a very new thing. I've never seen this as an option within PMDG. In FSX I used to go to the top of the screen and then go into time compression and speed up the simulation time to whatever I wanted if it was a long flight and I had nothing to do. So I'm not sure about that. Autopilot disconnect on control input, I would say that's enabled. Hide captain seat, no. Hide first officer seat, no. It does just literally disappear. That just makes it look really weird. Although I suppose maybe it's to try and press any of these. Ooh, circuit breakers don't work. Interesting. Let's put that back in. Yokes, yes, are already hidden. Yokes move when lowered, no. It just makes no sense to do that. And steering input is rudder axis only, or you have got other options. Prop 1 axis plus rudder, or rudder axis only. I've left it to rudder only at the moment. Right. Just forgotten to do one thing. And that is squeak my chair. Now that's actually switch on some power on my laptop that is recording. Right, let's go back. So that's that bit. Performance, this will be your frame rates for all your various displays. So all these displays that you see here. So your PFD over here, your ND or your map over here, your engine, your ISFD, is this your HGS? I can never remember. So all of these will have their different frame rates, and that's where you can improve the performance of your flight simulation if you are struggling a little, which I think is pretty cool. I'll leave all of this as standard. This is obviously new. You can also go around changing the colors. Now obviously with this it's not happening because I suppose I should do this. I'll start that. Might as well whilst I'm doing that. You will see that you can change the colours of your PFD, sky, ground, your tapes. Well, actually, let's have a look at the tapes right now. So it's 190.90. If I go ahead and change this, I could say, let's say 255. There you go. My tapes have now turned to that colour, and also that has changed to that colour. It's strange. It's really strange that you can do that, but you can, and I think it's kind of cool. I think that you could make some adjustments. Perhaps this, I mean, thinking about it, this could help people who are colorblind. They can change around the color so that it's easier for them to differentiate. And I think that's really neat. I think this is going to change. Which one is this going to change? Yep, all of that. Now it looks more like a fighter jet with the green displays. Again, it's really neat, but it's kind of strange as well. But it does make sense. I like that they're trying to have this accessibility for people, and I think it's really cool. And also, For example, we've got these panel lights. If I go ahead and switch on, let's brighten up those panel lights. Let's have a look at that. And I could what does that change? Oh, I'm not sure what that changes. What did that change? I would have thought that was going to change the backlights on these, but it does not seem to have done that. Okay, maybe that's instrument lights. Maybe that's that. No? I'm going to have to figure out what some of these things change and what they do not change. But it is I think it's really cool. I think it's a really, really cool thing that they've got going on here. Now I'm just curious. There's a lot here that I could change. MCP, digits, min, max, backlight. So that's all of these over here that you're then looking at. Radio lights or radio digit lights. So that's these ones down here. In fact, I could show you this. At max, let's just put... Actually, let's just put 0. So RGB you'll have up to 255. Put 0. That's not really showing you anything, is it? Radio digits min. Oh, these could be quite... Yeah, these could be on min, to be fair. There you go. And they changed to green, which I'll be honest, I will be changing those around. Because I just think that looks so much cooler in those colours. So yes, I am going to change a lot of this around, but not in this video. I want to show you the rest of the stuff in the next few minutes so that you're just aware as to what you can do. And then I will show, once I've finished configuring my entire flight deck, I will probably make a video showing all the options I've done and how I've set it up. So once you've done that, we then have all of these options. And these are on a per livery basis. So this is for Golf Lima Golf Tango India, which is this British Airways aircraft. I can set up my equipment, my master control panel, Honeywell or Collins. Now, I like both of them, but I do slightly prefer the Collins one. So I'll be selecting Collins. Now, I can get the colours of this to match with the colours of this, which is brilliant. That is something I want. After takeoff, what happens? Does it go wings level on autopilot or into heading select? Wings level. Glide slope capture before localizer? Denied. I mentioned this in the last video I did with the 146. You go on the localizer first. Once the localizer is alive, then you hit the glide slope, and that is how you capture it. So this is how you do that. Auto land, fail pass. Not a clue. Fail op. Interesting. Does add something. Did add something somewhere. Oh, yes, we've got a button there for CR, whatever that does. I have no idea. There's so many options here. Engines, double derate. Okay, yes or no. So that allows you to do a double derate on that. Your company cost index, your standard cost index for that. Your minimum required runway length, fine. ILS requirement for alternates, this is. Yes, we do want that. V1 call out. What, on the computer? That's the V1 computer call out. Off. Bank angle call out. Yes. Approaching minimums call out. Yes, approaching minimums will do. Approaching decision height. That sounds nicer. And it will put the decision height there. 2,500 feet call 2,500 feet or radio altimeter. I like radio altimeter. Call to 2,500? No. Call 1,000. Smarts for 500. 400, 300. No. 200, 100. See, now I would say I'd like 100. I'd like 100. I'd like no, I'd probably just like 100. Airspeed low. Yes, we probably want that. Terrain in peaks mode. Yes, show water in cyan. ETOPS. Yes, sure. There you go. That gives us extended overwater operations, I think, or it's just extended operations. It's ETOPS. Dual battery package, yes. Cargo fire system, yes. Acceleration, so we've got acceleration altitudes, etc. Default transition altitude, that changes because it's British Airways. 6,000 feet, job done. Default transition level, FL 60. Okay. Oops. FL 060. There we go. That's what I want. Maximum fixed page is 6. Fine. Descent speed. Descent underspeed margin 15. Yep. Auxiliary fuel system none. Standby instruments. Analog, and you can hear it. So you've got analog, you've got the integrated one with the analog RMI, or none. I like analog. It just gives it that nicer noise of that there's something going on, and if everything else fails, that will do for me. Enter IRS position. Yeah, I'll do that in a moment. But let me just do that here. If I remember how to do this, position init, Echo Golf, Lima Lima, reference airport, go here, grab this from GPS, I'm supposed to grab it from GPS L, stick it in there, there you go, and there we go, PFDs and everything have come up online, great. Standby instruments, yes, HGS installed, that's the auto landing system I suppose, yep, and that's down here, that's Collins one as well, your damper gauge, yes, sure, why not. Performance improvement package. What? Yes. Okay. Does that change? That must change something outside, right? No. Nothing I can see. Interesting. Okay. Flight test package. No. Auto probe heat. No. Let's go for carbon brakes. Better braking. Extended light, original with pulse. No, let's just go for, so these are the landing lights. Let's go for original. So if you change these, you'll notice that if I go for the LED ones, we lose some of our landing light options, which I'll be honest, I do like. Or it's external lighting. I do like these landing lights. The LED landing lights are rather nice. As you can see, no, you cannot because of the drone focus. There you go. That's the LED landing lights. Very, very nice, high quality lights. We could, by the way, that reflection is brilliant. We could go over here and go with pulse, which I do not think pulse is for some reason. I'm probably doing something wrong there. Maybe second one is pulse. There you go. Now it's pulsing. And this is supposed to be something to do with birds. So there you go. Which is, it's just weird. It's weird to see an aircraft like that. And I have seen one in real life do this, and it was baffling to see this actually happening. But you can see that does work. We could go for original. And that's your standard light, so I could switch that on. There you go. And you've got ones on the underside as well, which are retractable. There they come. Do look a little strange, and then there you go. They are on. I will say the textures on the landing lights, the retractable landing lights, the textures do seem a little strange. It's like they're. Can you see that it looks like they're reflecting something when they're clearly not? So that one is a little strange. I think they need to look at that. Whilst these ones are fine, I think those ones need to be looked at. And of course, cannot remember. Do you see? No, you couldn't do that. You have to actually switch these off manually, which is a little annoying. And then, of course, original with pulse gives you the pulsing lights like that. So that's what you have. Now, as I said, I I do not particularly like the pulse lights, so I'm just going to be going for original. And the only reason I would much rather have original LED landing lights, but I'd like the original strobes because this will change the strobes as well. Eyebrow windows adds the eyebrow windows. They're there somewhere. There they are. I do not particularly like them. They look strange outside. As you can see, they do look rather strange because they seem to be massively tinted for some reason. They look, in fact, actually I'll be honest, they look like they're not textured. That could be why they look so strange. Yeah, they are not textured from the outside. That's a Pmdg bug. Okay, they would probably look better if they were textured, but anyway, I'm going to go back in and switch it out. Cabin layout, yep, air stairs installed. You could have proper air stairs. Cut-off switches, old style, which I'm used to. This new weird style, which I'm not used to, so I'm going back to the old style. Wi-Fi antenna, yes, why not? You'll see them up top. There they are, right there. So you can even install Wi-Fi. Yoke checklist, yes, sure, that's fine. And auto ignition, I would like to have off. Displays, yes, there is still more to go. This is how in-depth and detailed this aircraft is. Flight director, either like this with a split axis, or if you have a look at the PFD, single queue like so. I prefer the split axis. Ground speed display, I like, just there. That's pretty nice to have. Although it's also up there, but I do like it there. VRF plus 20 bug, yep, sure. 100 knots bug, do not need that. Rising runway, yes, I'll have that on. Yep, I'll have that. I also like having this dial. I do tend to like having that angle of attack dial right there. Landing altitude bar, sure. 2500 height alert, yes. Low speed, yep. Show landing flaps. Is it going to show me that? Yeah, sure. Sure, not a problem. I'd like to see what that is. These are all inoperative at the moment because of probably how it's been set. Range arcs. I've always liked to have range arcs. VOR course lines on. TCAS 3-mile range ring. Yeah, that's fine. Other traffic, that's fine. That will be fine. Engine side-by-side display gives us all of that, and then that turns these into inoperative because you cannot. This is the MFD. You cannot access the MFD with that. So you've just got this single display unit. But I kind of like this because then you can pull some extra information down there and then tuck it up there and then have your hydraulics, and obviously once the aircraft's up and running you'll have your aircraft controls and all of that down there. Oil quantity indication, quarts or percentage? Let's go percentage. I don't think we would use. Do we use quarts for oil quantity on an aircraft here? Don't think so. High vibration alert, yep. And max continuous thrust bugs, no. There we go. That's the display's done. Then we've got the failures. So lots and lots of options right here. Now, hopefully that's given you an idea of how in depth this aircraft setup is. So this is all done. And now what I'm going to do is before I end, let's switch all of this off. That can go, main panel lights can go, that glare shield lights off, that's off, that's off, those lights are now off. Yep, that's everything off. Right, now before I end this video, I know it has been a long video just showing all the features of this aircraft. I'm going to just do a very quick cockpit tour or flight deck tour and show you what we have. So let's start off on the captain's side. I won't show you absolutely everything, but I'll show you most of the stuff. Right, see down here, does this Does it actually move? Yeah, do that and then turn this up. These are lights, by the way. I'm not sure whether they work, but they offer lights. That's the tiller. That's your control. Although at the moment I've got it on the rudder, that's actually your control for steering. Clock, as you would expect, there's a clock button there to start your to get your chronometer running and all of that kind of stuff. It's got everything you need on here, so you've got your reset button. There's your chronometer reset right there. You can start it and stop it. Nose wheel steering button there, aircraft registration there. This is your primary flight display. Speed on a tape, or your speed tape right here. Ground speed down there. You've got a basic compass heading down there. That is your artificial horizon with your attitude indicator. You've also got a bank angle indicator, and I believe it will also give you slip indicators on here. Angle of attack dial right there. These are your autopilot modes, will come up on this. So for example, if I just press, it won't do it right now because obviously I do not have any other options. The aircraft isn't started. We don't have any of the autopilot systems up and running. In fact, let me switch on a flight director. Yeah, it's not going to work. But there you go. Actually, no, it does. Heading select. So that tells you what it's looking for. I can switch that on or off. We want. There's on the auto throttle. There you go. Auto throttle's armed, and whatever you want. So that's got all the bits that you need to know for what is going on there. Then you've got your flight director there. You've got your ILS over here, so you can tune this up. So for example, if I just selected, I don't know, let's go ahead and go 109.5. That should tune up here, and you'll see that it's actually got a cross there because it hasn't matched. Our course is not matching. Our course is not matching the actual heading for this particular runway. Now, of course, it thinks it's Birmingham for some reason. Just weird. I think that is where I was lost, so I don't know what it's done there. Anyway, on this side we've got our altimeter. You've got your VSI right here. You've got your anything in pink generally tends to be autopilot, so that is your set altitude, your set speed. So you can see that if I change this around, you'll see that changes there. That is then your ILS for the runway, so that's your localizer, that's your glide slope. Heading indicator again with the pink saying that 268 is your current heading, which is what we've done there. So that is that in a nutshell. Then moving over to the ND, which is this one, navigation display. Ground speed, true airspeed, also tells us our track, our magnetic heading, how far to run to certain things. VOR, both 1 and 2, we have our DME for it. We've got our RMP. We've also got our heading bug. On this you'll have course lines, you'll have traffic show up on this. We could, for example, have weather radar on. We could have our stations. There you go. So that's London, that's Ockham, waypoints, all sorts of things. There's Ascot, Hayes, Romeo, etc, etc. Data points, you can have position information, terrain could go on. There's just lots you can do, and you can flip it around on that. I mean, that's just lost its mind. It's just gone, yeah, that's way too much information. Let's go slightly further out. Let's switch off some of this rubbish. There you go. There's our terrain now coming up. It's picked up some of the terrain. So that is essentially how that works. We can actually move through different modes. So there's a VOR mode. We can have an approach mode. I believe then you can press that button. Changes the display style. It's actually really quite cool. There is one way to do this again. If you press it, I think you have to be in flight, but if you press it a second time, it brings up your descent path as well on the approach mode, which is, again, really awesome. And then you can go into plan mode as well and then step through things, and yeah, there's lots of things that you can do with this. Oh, there you go. There's one with map mode. That shows, so that's where you're aiming, that's where the aircraft is, etc. Loads of great opportunities on a single display, all controlled through this little bit here. Apparently that's inoperative for some reason. Why are you inoperative? Oh, why is ADF 2 inoperative? I'm confused. Switches for your VORs 1 and 2 and ADF right here. Your minimums can be set here to be either radio or baro, and then you can set them, and as you can see it shows up along here. Nice and simple. You can just press reset and it's gone. Never figured out what those two buttons do. This is where you set your pressure. So, and then you swap to standard pressure and back out of it in that form. You can have it in hectopascals or in inches of mercury. So that's millibar and inches of mercury. So that would be 29902 or 1013 millibars. So that is that. Test of your lights is there for your lights testing. Okay, everything shows up very, very nicely. It's very, in fact, this is a lot more detailed than FSX, that's for sure. There's a lot more going on here. There is a lot more going on, and I like this. I'm all for this. Fantastic, absolutely fantastic, and it does the entire board. It will test up everything. So that is that. Then we've got our standby artificial horizon and standby attitude indicator, standby altimeter with our pressures over there, standby speed tape, and we've got our standby RMI, which is right there. So I think that you could, in theory, you could just fly with these three and a compass, which is right there, that compass. These three and the compass, and you are sorted. In the middle we have engine and system information on this display, the MFD. So you can always have a look at the engines on 2 pages, 1 page, and as I said, you've got your hydraulic systems, and you can have a look at your braking systems and all of that on this page right here once it is in use. Landing gear right there, of course. We have up, down and off. Flaps position there. This is our auto brake positions. This is our fuel flow, and then I'm not entirely certain what this one is. Not used. There are a few things I've not used in a long time, so that's a little bit unfamiliar right now. Our entire autopilot system is up here. Courses for 1 and 2. Flight directors 1 and 2 with the master switch right there, telling you which one's the master. So if I just flick that off, you'll see that becomes the master, and then I can do that. Switch that again. Then we've got our course, our speed, our heading, our altitude, our vertical speed with a dial to change that. Autopilot engage commands are right there. Disengage bar is right there. Well, that's nice. That's very nice. With all your options here: VNav, LNav, VOR, localizer, approach, heading select, level change, speed, N1, cutout, I think, speed intervention, vertical speed, altitude, hold, and then altitude intervention by pressing that in. What else do I have to show you? Annunciator panels with some autopilot information there, speed brake information there, stabilizer trim, whether it's out of trim there, takeoff config, cabin altitude, any important information there. Obviously our master warning switches are here, fire warning switch right there. So that is all of that. Lighting controls down here, and ground proximity warning, inhibition for them right here. So for example, where it's telling you, let's say you're flying through mountainous terrain and you need to inhibit, the gear needs to come down really late or something, or you're going to fly over a mountain, inhibit it there. That way it will not warn you saying gear or anything like that. System test for the proximity warning system right down here for ground proximity once again. So in fact, I'll press this and you'll hear it.
Light slow.
There it goes. I was going to say, where is it?
Pull up. Wind shear.
And it also comes up with the sign, the
terrain.
information, and it's testing.
Airspeed low. Airspeed low.
Still going through its test, I would think. Anyway, whilst that's going through its test, your control units down here. You've got your trim wheel right here with your stabilizer plane, trim, over here. So you see that at the moment that's set to what, 4. Parking brake there. Oh, that's nice. Speed brake right here. Does speed brake work? Yes, it does. So you've got a speed brake all the way out to flight detent, which is where that's the maximum you should ever deploy your speed brake, and then fully up when you're landing. Like that. Flap controls on that side. Thrust levers there, reverser levers there, fuel cutoff there, stabilizer trim mode over there, fire handles for engines 1, 2 and the APU there. Got your overheat detect on this side, plus you've got your test somewhere here. I've forgotten where the test is for. It's that one. That's one. And the other side will have your alarms and everything will light up red. There it goes. So that just shows that that works. Great. All your radio instruments are all down here. This is your full radio instrument. So you've got your VHF radio, you've got your nav radios, both sides 1 and 2. Weather radar here, which is inoperative at the moment. Cargo information here. Obviously you can have cargo fires and all of that kind of stuff down here. That's the discharge button for the fire, for cargo fire anyway. Obviously for these it's pull and turn. Auto land system there, HGS, that's the auto landing system. You've got your microphone selectors over here, your ADF radios there, your transponder down there, then you've got your rudder trim and your flight deck door, whether it's going to be locked or unlocked or whatever, and your panel lighting down there. So that's all of that. Circuit breakers all at the back, which surprisingly you cannot click those either, which is, I'm sure in Flight Simulator you could click the circuit breakers. They would actually pop out and you could try and pop them back in. Anyway, as I said, I'm just showing you around this aircraft right now. And then we've got our overhead panel. Lighting controls on this side for taxi and runway lighting. Lighting controls on this side for all the other lights. So you've got your beacon lights, which is anti-collision, logo lights, position lights, which is your nav lights, plus your strobe lights, wing lights and wheel well lights. On this side we've got our flight control main systems, including our yaw damper, which I should probably have on. Navigation over here to select which source you want to use. So IRS is obviously both left, VHF both left, so everything at the moment is both left. Display source as well. Then we've got fuel all over here, so we've got our crossfeed, fuel pumps, temperature, and whether the valves are open or closed. Electrical panel right down here, all of this is electrical. So we've got our multimeter right here. So we've got, this is obviously telling us volts, amps, AC volts, DC volts and amps. So that's great. We've got our battery right there, galley switch right there, so whether you want power to the galley, standby power there, emergency disconnect drives over there, ground power button, bus transfer, generators 1 and 2, APU generators in the middle. Then we've got our exhaust gas temperature right there. This is, by the way, this is why I have, sometimes with TGT I call it tail gas temperature, turbine gas temperature. It's because EGT, exhaust gas temperature, is what we're looking for on this. So this is for, obviously for your APU, it'll jump up and then come back down. Wipers over there, which they're in weird places. I think the wipers used to be somewhere else, I'm not entirely sure. Lighting down there, air cooling right there, emergency lighting, chime to call the cabin, fasten seatbelts, again calling the cabin, ground call right there, seatbelt sign right there. I believe this used to be a no smoking sign. On some aircraft this is a no smoking sign. Then we've got, up here we've got our window heats. So this is all our probe heats and window heat, anti-ice for wings and engine, hydraulic pumps for both electrical, from the electrical systems and from the engines, cockpit voice recorder, pressurization, and then this is all pressurization as well, and cabin air temperature and all of that kind of stuff. So cabin temperature and all the pressurization right here. So like for example at the moment these will probably be on. Yeah, so you'd switch them on, get the APU running and all of that kind of stuff. You might hear them start, you know. And then flight pressurization here, so whatever altitude you are going to be flying at, so for example let's say 25,000 feet. Landing altitude for Heathrow would be 100 I believe, and then you've got your dumping again, automatic, manual, open and closed for dumping for pressurization. Go right to the top. This you tend not to use. Your flight recorder, your warning for your airspeed, your warning for stalls. Then you've got your microphone selector for, again, I'm not sure who this is actually for. This you will use your iris display at the start. You can put that into test mode, or then you can have it set up for whatever you want. Then you'll start this up, so you go off, align, nav, and then once it's in nav, that's how your IRSs will align. And obviously this will give you your flap information right there, and additional gear information right there. And then you've got a dome light, which you can have as dim or bright, both of which work perfectly fine. And I think that might very well be the entire aircraft. I think it is. I think that is the entire aircraft. So that is where I'm going to end it. I know that's a lot of information packed in, but I just wanted to demonstrate how detailed this aircraft is and how much information is actually on this aircraft, despite not having an EFB yet, despite some things still not being quite right. I think they need to work on obviously the landing gear bay textures, and also I think some of the lights on the exterior, particularly those retractable lights, do need to be worked on. The cabin needs to be worked on, but everything is there in terms of systems, or almost everything is there in terms of systems, in terms of visuals and all of that kind of stuff. It all seems to be there, which is great. What we now have to see is how well this flies, and for that you will have to join me in the next video. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to hit the like button if you like this video. Subscribe to the channel for more videos on Microsoft Flight Simulator, and indeed part 2 and 3 of this. In the next video we are going to be doing a full cold and dark startup. I'm going to start this aircraft up. I am actually going to get a sim brief. Before I do it, I will have a sim brief flight loaded up. I will load that flight in, and I will show you how to load one of those flights in. I will then go through the full cold and dark startup. We will do a pushback. I'll try the manual pushback, I think. We will do a taxi, a takeoff, a climb out, and I think I might do the same flight as what I did for the 146, just a repositioning flight from Birmingham to Heathrow. It's a nice short flight. I know the route well. I've done that route before many times in various different simulators, so I know the route well, and I know in that whole area, in the Midlands area, in the London area, in fact I guess across all of the UK, I'm quite familiar with the different radio frequencies, with the VORs, and with the approaches and all of that kind of stuff. So because I'm familiar with that, it's a nice short flight, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, enough to get an idea for this aircraft. So that is the plan. So make sure you stay tuned for all of that. If you can do so, please do consider supporting me on Patreon, link in the description box below. And also you can find me on social media at ECGadgetLP for both Twitter and Instagram. That is all from me, and I'll see you next time in Microsoft Flight Simulator.